So with 4.5 being out, we have this new weird banner called Chronicled Wish Ode to the Dawn Breeze. And on this banner, it gives you access to a couple of characters that haven't had banners in a while, or some weapons that have not been seen in a long time. And it gives you a chance to pull for all of these, and you kind of pick what you want. We're not necessarily talking about the banner in this video. Instead, we're going to be going through some of the weapons. And in this video, the weapon is Wolf's Gravestone. Now, I already had Wolf's Gravestone because this is a weapon that you can get if you lose a 50-50 on the weapon banner, or you can pull it from the standard weapon banner. Now, I already have a Wolf's Gravestone. And the reason that I already have it is because this is a weapon that you can get from the standard banner, which is where I got mine. So, in this video, we are going to look at this. So that is what this video is going to be about. It is going to be about Wolf's Gravestone. So you're new to Genshin, you do a 10 pull on the current weird banner, and you get 5-star Wolf's Gravestone. Now in this video, we're going to look at its stats, what it does, and who it can be good for. Okay, so Wolf's Gravestone, it does get up your attack percent. Mine is level 90. At R1, it increases attack by 20%. On hit, attacks against opponents with less than 30% HP increase all party members' attack by 40% for 12 seconds. It can occur every 30 seconds. So I have this weapon on my level 50 Gaming, and we're going to go into a domain, and we're going to show the passive of this weapon in action. Now, I would really only recommend this weapon if you had a good enough crit split without a crit rate or crit damage weapon. But if you do have that good enough crit split, then this can be very, very good for a lot of Claymore users. And we're going to talk about that later in the video. Okay, so before we start this domain, Gaming's attack is 2,118. That is with no buffs, no passives, nothing. So we're going to start this domain, and we are going to get an enemy below 30% HP using his skill and Layla's skill. Once we have it and we get that off, you can see we have these arrows around Gaming, meaning we are getting the weapon's passive. His attack is now 2,425. So we are getting a 300 attack increase, which is going to be very, very good for a character like Gaming. Not only did it increase his attack, it increased every character's attacks. I know I didn't show their attack beforehand, but their attacks are higher. Trust me, just trust. So with this passive going, we are then going to just go through our rotation. We are going to be using Gaming to just do as much damage as possible. And you can see that a level 50 Gaming is going to be hitting over 20k, reliably 12 to 15k, which is great. He can use this weapon because I have a good enough crit split on him without needing like a crit rate Serpent Spine. So do keep that in mind with characters that you want to put Wolf's Gravestone on. You need that good crit split first. So now we're going to look at some other characters that this can be good for. First off is going to be Dia. Now before I had Beacon, I actually used this weapon on Dia a lot, and it was fairly good. Dia can appreciate the attack increase, especially at C0. My Dia is C2, so it's a little bit different. But at C0, she can very much appreciate that really high increase in attack. Again, you gotta have the good crit split first, though. So next is going to be a character like Navia. So she is going to be another character that can appreciate the increase in attack as long as you have the crit split. She is going to be on field doing a lot of damage, so this weapon can be very, very good for her. I do have Serpent Spine on her. One, I feel like the colors match a little closer, which is a big thing for me, not everybody, but I need the crit rate, so that's why I have Serpent Spine on her. Next is going to be a character like Beto. However, I do think that Sacrificial Greatsword at higher refinements is going to be better for a character like Beto than Wolf's Gravestone. Beto is very, very energy hungry, and she needs something to help supplement that energy that she needs because she's going to be doing a lot of damage with her burst. So if you're running her with Emblem, which is her best set to get damage out of her burst, something like Sacrificial Greatsword is going to be better. However, if you don't have Sacrificial Greatsword, or if you want to use Wolf's Gravestone instead, you can use Wolf's Gravestone. Next is going to be Eula, and I actually use this weapon on Eula sometimes. So it can even outperform something like Snow Tomb Star Silver that gets up physical damage bonus. Wolf's Gravestone can even outperform that sometimes because it gets up her attack so much, and Eula can very much appreciate the increase in attack. So this weapon can be all right on D-Luke. We're not going to talk too much about him. So Sayu. This weapon can be very, very good on Sayu because Sayu's healing is dependent on her attack. So not only will it improve her overall personal damage, it will also increase the amount of healing that Sayu does. So next is going to be a character like Chongyun, and he can definitely use this weapon, especially if you're using him on field and giving him his own cryo infusion. Next is going to be Freminet. Freminet is kind of like an off-brand Eula, so as much as Eula can appreciate it, Freminet can also appreciate it, because Freminet does do a lot of physical damage just like Eula, and once that increase in attack, Freminet can definitely use this weapon. Next is going to be a character like Razor. Now, Razor does do electro and physical damage with his burst, and this can be another good weapon on Razor. However, I do think that Rain Slasher is going to be a slightly better weapon, especially if you're using him for an Aggravate or a Quick Bloom team. Rain Slasher will be the better option. Next is going to be Dory. I do want to make a video. One of my community members, Zucchini, is doing a C6 Hyper Bloom Dory with Farina, and I want to make a video on that, but that's not this video. Dory can also use this weapon as well. There's a lot of characters that can use this weapon. Next is going to be Xinyan. Now, Xinyan, if you're using her for on-field damage, she can use this weapon. If you're using her for shielding, not as much. But if you want more information on that, go check out the YouTube channel on her where we talk about different weapons that are good for her as a beginner or even some late game. Now for a couple of characters that can't really use this weapon as well. Ito, the one and only, cannot necessarily use this weapon because Ito wants defense because of how his burst works. So, just like Noelle, where if you're using Noelle mainly for healing and Xinyan for shielding, you want to build defense on these three characters versus attack. So their ability to use this weapon is not going to be anywhere near as high as the other characters that we've talked about. And finally, Kaveh. Now, Kaveh is a character, a very special kind of Dendro character, a very special kind of Claymore character, where you want elemental mastery, not attack. So he is going to be another character that cannot use it as well as other characters. So I would not put Wolf's Gravestone on Kaveh, Ito, healing Noelle, or shielding Xinyan. I would leave them out of using Wolf's Gravestone. That is going to be it for this video. If you have any questions, you be sure to leave it down in the comments. Myself or someone else will be sure to answer it, and I will see you in the next one.